Hi, it's JC. I was just sitting here thinking about another little adventure I had in my childhood. Um, my brother, Thomas, I call him Buddy, was a little over 9 years older than me, and I was always a kid to him until I got up around age 15 or so, and then we sort of got close. Um, he had a lot of nerve, and he was always wanting to do things, and I was just a dumb kid. Gutsy, I'd go along with whatever it was. But anyhow, they about 1951, I think it was. I was 15 years old, and Bud had gone up to Jackson, California, and signed on with a crew there, the construction crew that were building the Bear River Dam on Bear River. There were a couple of other guys from Modesto who were going up, and they were all kind of going up together. And so he came down one day, and I wasn't in school. And he asked me if I'd like a job, and I told him sure. And my stepbrother Floyd was there too. So he took Floyd and I up there and introduced us to the boss. And the boss asked how old we were. Well, of course, we had to be 16 to work, so we lied and told him Floyd was 16, but I wasn't. But I told him I was, and I could have passed for 16, I guess. So anyhow, he put me to work. And actually, it was a pretty good deal because I was working with Buddy. We would go up on the side of this is an earth rock dam. It wasn't a concrete dam, and they were having to go up and blast the big rocks. And so our job was to take a pneumatic drill and drill holes in the big, huge rocks, house-sized rocks, for the powder people to come along and put dynamite in there and blow them up into small pieces. And after we drilled quite a few rocks, and they got ready for the blast, we'd go down the hill and get in this little shed that was made out of 12 by 12s, I guess. It was really heavy duty. There's just not much chance any debris from the explosions could hurt us inside there. So anyhow, we went up and worked the first day, and we drilled all the rocks. We went down there, and the guys went up there and loaded, and everybody said, "Fire in the hole," and they put a whistle on and everything, and everybody got in the shed, and they blew them up. And well, I tell you, rocks went everywhere. The rock came down half the size of a Volkswagen, hit right on top of that little shed we were in, but it didn't hurt it. I mean, it was really strong. Anyhow, after that, we went to bed. We were pretty tired the first night, so we went to bed. We slept on cots in these tents. They were everybody slept in tents together. You'd go in and lay down your cot and go to sleep. And of course, there were bathrooms there and places to wash up, to wash our hands and face and one thing and another. So anyhow, we ate and we got up the next morning. And this one guy, Merle, he was up there with us. We went to breakfast in a huge tent, and they had so much food there. You could eat all you wanted, and we ate mostly fried eggs and bacon and sausage. And Merle, I thought he was going to stuff himself. He looked over and smiled. He says, "I've never seen this much food before." So anyhow, to make a long story short, we went in and put another day in, and on the second day we felt a little bit better about things, so we decided to go into Jackson to have a beer. Well, I had my guitar with me. I always took it with me. It was a Gibson, and so we went into Jackson and we went into a bar. Well, the guy looked us over pretty good, and he said, "You fellows on the dam from the dam?" We said, "Yes." And it was my brother, Buddy, my stepbrother Floyd, Merle, I, and somebody else. I can't remember who else. But anyhow, there were five of us, and it was pretty obvious we wanted to spend some money. And he said, "Okay, why don't you take that table back there?" And he gave us the farthest table back in the room. It was right by the back door. And I think we knew, and he kind of, grinned about it. And that if the cops or anything came in, we'd just kind of get up and stroll out the back door so they couldn't come in and see us underage people in there drinking. So we got our table, and I got my guitar back there, and had a beer, and we started picking and singing music. And a couple of guys came back and listened. And I knew a lot of Hank Williams songs, so I was singing Hank Williams songs. And pretty soon, about everybody in the bar back by our table listened to us pick and sing. And we had our beers, and pretty soon we went on back and went to bed and got some sleep. And we worked another day, and then the weekend came. We were off on the weekend. So on the weekend, we went on back down to Modesto. I don't know how we went about getting our paycheck, but we didn't go back to the dam. My brother and I messed around there a little while, and we bought an old Pontiac. It was about a 40, I guess, a 30, 39 or a 40 or 41. I think it was a 41 Pontiac. And that's another story that I'll tell some later date. It's pretty interesting how we happened to buy that car. Anyhow, a few things happened in the meantime, and finally, Buddy and I decided to go to Texas, and we got in that Pontiac. And this is a real story. I'll tell this in one day. Some very good relatives and friends I know will enjoy this one. There's a kid in France I know. They're named Robot. I forgot his first name. Anyhow, he really enjoys my stories, and this is an interesting one. Anyhow, that's the story about me working up on Bear River Dam when I was 15 years old with my big brother, Buddy.